In the summer, we went to London for a family trip. The energy of the city, the hustle and bustle, and the sight of so many beautiful people with their designer handbags gave me a tinge of FOMO. It's a feeling that used to feel so familiar. My husband and I used to have a ritual where we would go to London at least twice a year, just so I could do my shopping in stores like Cartier and Van Cleef. I used to go with a long shopping list because these stores are not available where I live, so I figured I should make the most of my trips. You see, in the last few years, I came to believe the secret ingredient to intentional spending was simply willpower and discipline. After the trip, however, I began to wonder, maybe I'm not gifted with strong willpower after all. Perhaps I've just not been subjected to that many temptations. Allow me to elaborate. So let's say you live in a major city like New York, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and so on. In these settings, designer shopping or consumerism in general might feel like the norm. After all, one of the main attractions of a capital city is the shopping, so it's not uncommon to see people carrying big shopping bags and having a good time. Or let's say you work in an office where all your colleagues carry expensive luxury handbags. Seeing enough of these might somehow spark your interest, and you then decide to dabble in luxury content. Before you know it, the algorithm picks up on your searches, and all of a sudden, your homepage is filled with videos about shopping, hauls, unboxing, and the latest and greatest trends. Things seem pretty intriguing, but you're still not sure if you're willing to spend thousands of dollars on a designer handbag. However, the content is interesting enough, and so you keep watching. After a while, it becomes the only thing you watch, and you start wondering, am I weird for not owning a designer handbag? Or maybe you hear everyone talking about Chanel increasing their prices again soon, and you think to yourself, you're only doing yourself a favor by spending $8,000 on a Chanel classic flap, even though you're not actually that crazy about the handbag. This is not to say you have to leave the city or look for a new job, but I think it gives you an idea how temptations are bigger and greater in certain settings. And if you're like me and you enjoy nice things, it just means you have a bigger hurdle to overcome before a low-buy challenge can even begin to look doable. In this case, if you have tasted the very satisfying dopamine hit, it can be tempting to stay in that reality, and you might even resist other ways of living. Years ago, my reality was working really hard and then rewarding myself with expensive things. It didn't matter that I wasn't planning for my future as much as I should. To me, it was what I knew, and there was no reason to change anything. I remember coming across minimalism, but sadly, I dismissed the idea very quickly because I didn't think it aligned with my life or my values. I mean, if shopping wasn't happiness, why was everyone else doing it? How very wrong was I? If only I could turn back time. Looking back, I might have identified myself as a maximalist because I wanted so desperately to feel belong to that reality that I created for myself. I wanted to live up to that image I saw on my screen or on the street. So the expensive shopping went on for years, but at some point, I started questioning myself if that was really it. The thing is, if spending was really the answer, then I must have invested enough in my happiness. So why is it that I only felt more and more anxious as my collection started to pile up in my closet? So this time I decided to explore minimalism with a more open mind, and it introduced me to a completely different world. This is a space that's not dominated by shopping or unboxing. Instead, the community focus on the joy of having less, and they also work towards having financial independence and living lives on their own terms. This made so much more sense to me, and it finally clicked. I felt really inspired, and before long, I was ready to welcome the new chapter of my life. A few months in, my reality started to look very different. The videos I watch and the blog posts I read are about living on less, investing for the future, and intentional living. I spend less time browsing online, which translates into less expensive shopping trips in the city, and therefore less temptations. Seeing my expenses cut in half was a revelation for me. I realized I can live on so much less, and there's no reason to overwork myself. And just for a bit of context, I used to work 6 days a week, and sometimes I work into the evening. To make matters worse, I didn't have a break for 1 entire year. I remember having a breakdown by Christmas time because I was so exhausted. But that didn't make me question myself. I continued grafting and grinding because it was a badge of honor for me. I thought at least I'll get to enjoy the fruit of my labor in the form of expensive shopping on the few days I got to be off. After minimalism, I have less stress and more time, so I started reading a lot more, doing gardening, and enjoying the very simple things in life with a lot more gratitude. Most importantly, I realized what I truly value is actually having options and freedom, not a mountain of material things. Once I figured out my priorities, the rest pretty much took care of itself. So it's fair to say our surroundings can either make us or break us. If you're looking for a supportive community with good vibes, Skillshare is the place for you. I cannot think of a better sponsor for this video, so thank you to Skillshare for supporting what I do. Skillshare is an online learning community where you can learn about illustrations, interior designs, filmmaking, photography, and so much more. I especially enjoy the classes on digital illustrations. Every week, I've been carving out time to take classes and draw, and it's really fulfilling to see my own progress. So this is my first illustration, and these are what I've been working on recently. I hope you agree there's a bit of improvement. I'm still a work in progress, but I feel a lot more confident, and I'm also really enjoying the process. One of the classes that has really helped me is the Brooke Glazes class called Intro to Procreate, Illustrating on the iPad. Brooke covers all the basics you need to know about digital drawing using Procreate. I am forever grateful for this class. Because of it, I found a passion that I enjoy tremendously. I highly recommend everyone to check out Skillshare. It's a wonderful community. Everyone is there to learn and explore, so it's the perfect place to pick up a skill and learn something new. For a limited time only, you can use my link for 50% off your annual Skillshare subscription. So make sure you take this amazing opportunity to invest in yourself. At the moment, I'm really enjoying this new reality I've created for myself. In this reality, I can embrace my introverted personality. I'm clear about what I value, and I feel a lot more in control of my life. More importantly, I no longer feel like I have to work very hard or act like someone else just to feel like I belong. The best way to describe this is, it's like having a whole new experience with life. And I know I'm not alone in this because so many of you have written to me to say how by slowing down, your lives have changed for the better as well. I'm really thankful that you guys accept the way I am, and to know that I'm making a small difference in this space just makes everything so worth it. I want to share a very interesting shopping encounter with you guys because I think it's quite relevant to what we are talking about here. So years ago, I was shopping in the Van Cleef & Arpels store in London. While I was there, a young lady came to the store and she looked like she was in her 20s. Anyway, she was in quite a rush and she told the sales associate that she was looking to buy a birthday gift and her budget was £7,000. So the sales associate showed her a pair of earrings and a necklace, and this lady took a look and she paid. The whole event took place in less than a few minutes. She didn't even take a seat. It was as if she was buying a toothbrush. Now, I will never know the background story. For all I know, she might be a Kylie Jenner equivalent, or she might be a PR assistant buying a gift for a celebrity. But I remember thinking, wow, it must be nice to be her. Well, I'm glad to say I'm not that invested in the comparison game anymore, and it's refreshing. Of course, there will always be people who can spend £7,000 in a few minutes without blinking, but that's not my reality, and I'm not ashamed to own it. Like I've always said, you don't have to be anti-shopping. There's nothing wrong in enjoying nice things responsibly. But if you feel like you're trapped in a rat race, a bit of intention can make a lot of difference. Thank you for being here. Take care, and I will see you soon.